You took your car in for the 6,000-mile service. Everything checks out. Car's running great. Engine's purring. Then the mechanic walks over with that look. You know the one, like a doctor about to deliver bad news. Sir, you're going to need a fuel injector cleaning. $150. Your car runs better than his pitch, but you pay up anyway. Everybody does. And that's exactly why this video exists. Subscribe right now, because what you're about to learn will save you real money at your next service appointment. And smash that like button, because this info is worth way more than $150. Delivering the promise today, you're going to learn the difference between two words that most car owners have never bothered to think about. And that ignorance costs people a ton of money every single year. I'll show you when a fuel injector cleaning actually makes sense and when it's just a straight-up money grab. There's also a bonus at the end about tires that's going to tick you off, because chances are you've already fallen for it. Stick around till the end. Part 1. Your car isn't a 1975 Ford Pinto. Let's go back in time for a second. Back in the day, cars broke down constantly. Like, impressively often. You had carburetors, distributor caps, points, and jets. Jet got clogged. You pulled over on the highway, grabbed a wire, blew into it, and drove home. It was basically a hobby. Practically a sport. And the old Ford Pinto. Don't even get me started. Oil every 1,500 miles. By 20,000 miles, the engine was already begging for a rebuild. Today, the game has completely changed. Electronic fuel injection, engine control modules, sensors for everything. Your modern car has more computing power than the Apollo spacecraft, and it breaks down a whole lot less. Electronics basically retired all the parts that used to cause problems. But here's the detail your mechanic doesn't like to say out loud. A car that doesn't break down means less work. Less work means less money for the shop. So what happens? The recommended services start appearing. And that's where things get real interesting. Real fast. Mini suspense. But before I tell you about the hustle, let me ask you something. Do you know the difference between required and recommended? Because that difference is worth money. A lot of money. Answers coming right up. Part 2. The 3 words that change everything you need to learn. The difference between 3 types of service. Until you can tell them apart, you're going to keep being the shop's easiest customer. First type. Required. This is what's written in your owner's manual. Not the mechanic's opinion. Not shop tradition. It's what the manufacturer said needs to be done at a specific mileage to keep your warranty valid. This one, you do. No questions asked. Second type. Recommended. Here's where it starts to get sketchy. Recommended is a suggestion. It's the mechanic saying he thinks it's a good idea. And, hey, sometimes it actually is a good idea. A wheel alignment every 6,000 miles, for instance, is recommended, and it makes sense. But you can say no. Your warranty stays intact. Your wallet stays full. Third type. Pushed. This is where the real problem lives. It's a service with no documented technical basis for your specific car at that specific moment. But it shows up on the bill anyway. And the preventive fuel injector cleaning on a car running perfectly with 0 issues and 0 symptoms falls squarely into this category most of the time. Recommended is not required. That simple phrase can save you hundreds of dollars a year. And then comes the most classic move in the playbook. You say you Dan, do you want it, Dan? And the mechanic gives you that look. Like a doctor telling you the results aren't great. You're going to void your warranty. Those are the magic words. The nightmare of every new car owner. And it works. Because most people don't know it's a bluff. You only void your warranty if you skip something that's listed as required in your owner's manual. If it's not in there as required, you can decline without losing a single thing. You'll void your warranty is a bluff. And it's worked for years because nobody bothered to check. Mid-video, call to action. If this video has already helped you out, share it with a buddy is getting ripped off at the shop, and drop a comment below. Have you ever paid for a fuel injector cleaning you didn't need? Tell your story. We want to hear it. Part 3. When the cleaning actually makes sense. Now here's the part that separates the real content from the clickbait. Fuel injector cleaning exists for a legitimate reason. And there are situations where it's genuinely called for. You need to know what those are. So you're neither the sucker who pays when you don't have to, nor the stubborn guy who refuses when you actually should. Fuel injectors operate under extremely high pressure with very tight tolerances. Over time, especially with low-quality gas, deposits can absolutely build up. You should consider a cleaning when the diagnostic scanner shows a specific fault code related to the injector. When your idle is rough, the engine shakes at a stoplight, that feeling like it's about to stall out at any moment when your MPG suddenly tanks with no change in your driving habits. When you have a misfire on a specific cylinder, or when a scan confirms you got bad gas at the pump. Outside of those situations, car running smooth, no check engine light, no symptoms. A preventive cleaning at 6,000 miles does not appear as a required periodic item in most modern vehicle maintenance schedules. Manufacturers typically specified by symptom or specific condition, not by mileage intervals. Part 4, the scanner became an excuse back in the day. Diagnosis was all about trial and error. Replace the spark plugs. Didn't fix it. Replace the wires. Didn't fix it. Replace the coil. Didn't fix it. By the time you found the real problem, you'd already replaced 15 parts you didn't need and paid for every single one. The OBD scanner came along to end all that. Now it pinpoints exactly which sensor is out of spec, which component has failed, which error code was logged. It's the most genuinely honest advancement in auto repair in decades. But there's a scam happening at some shops. The scanner gets used as an authority argument to sell services it never actually flagged. Car comes in with no symptoms. Scanner runs clean. Nothing shows up. But the estimate comes back with injector cleaning, transmission fluid, flush, and 3 other things. When you ask what the scanner actually found, the answer gets vague. It's preventive. It's recommended. The scanner is a diagnostic tool, not a sales tool. An honest mechanic, when the scanner shows nothing, tells you everything's good, you're all set. And unfortunately, that's still the exception, not the rule. Suspense before the bonus. And speaking of things people pay for that they don't need, have you ever replaced tires because the mechanic said they were expired? Hold on. What I'm about to tell you is exactly the kind of info most people only learn after they've already been taken. Part 5. Tires aren't milk. Let me tell you a quick story. A guy takes his car in for service. The mechanic looks at the tires and says, "These need to be replaced. They're past their expiration date." The guy looks at the tires. Good tread. No cracks. No bulges. Nothing. But the mechanic points to the dot number on the sidewall and says, "Manufactured more than 5 years ago. Expired." The guy pays for 4 new tires he didn't need. Here's the problem. Tires don't expire like a gallon of milk. Milk goes bad on a specific date. Done tires have a service life, which is a completely different thing. Service life depends on how you drive, where you drive, how the vehicle is stored, and the climate where you live. Arizona versus Seattle. Very different story. What tires have is a manufacturer's warranty, which is typically 6 years from the date of manufacture within that period. If a structural defect appears, the manufacturer covers it. But an expired warranty does not mean the tire is dangerous or needs to be replaced immediately. After 6 years, the recommendation is periodic technical inspection. The decision to replace depends on the actual condition of the tire, not just the date stamped on the sidewall. The real warning signs are something else entirely. Deep cracking in the tread area or sidewall, bulging anywhere in the structure, tread depth below the legal minimum. That's 2/32 of an inch in most states. Visible deformation or abnormal vibration at highway speed. Those are the technical indicators, not the year number. Close in with a bang. You're leaving this video with a new vocabulary. And vocabulary is power when you're standing at the service desk. At your next service appointment, you're going to ask, is this in the manufacturer's maintenance schedule, or is this an additional recommendation? That one simple question changes the entire tone of the conversation. If the mechanic brings up the warranty, you'll know you only void it by skipping something that's listed as required in your owner's manual. Declining a recommendation doesn't void anything. If they say your tires are expired, you're going to ask to see the actual problem. cracking, bulging, tread depth, deformation. If none of those are there, those tires are still rolling. Knowledge is the only thing standing between you and being the shop's easiest mark. Now, tell me in the comments, have you ever paid for an injector cleaning you didn't need? Have you ever fallen for the expired tire story? Drop it below. I read every single one. Final call to action before you close out. You've got 2 missions. First, share this video with someone you know is getting overcharged at their shop. Friend, family, coworker. Send it with a simple message. Watch this before your next oil change. Second, subscribe and hit the notification bell. Content like this drops every week. Straight up technical info for people who aren't mechanics but aren't chumps either. Thanks for watching all the way through. See you in the next one.